Hey guys, my name's Alex. I'm a senior front-end developer working for a place called Amplify. I've been in the web industry for about over a decade, and today I wanted to go through one of my favorite learning apps called Duolingo. So for those who don't know what Duolingo is, it's a sort of web app kind of thing that's designed to help people learn new languages in a kind of like casual and fun way. Personally, I kind of used it to help me learn Japanese, but also I also used it a bit like an inspiration for when I'm working with web apps and things like that to see how you can sort of work user experience wise and how to simplify things. So the first thing I wanted to go through was the kind of like the onboarding sort of process with Duolingo. I think in terms of user experience and as a customer, I think it should be like made as simple as possible, because at the end of the day, as designers or developers, it's the most important to make sure that people can actually achieve their objectives. So let's just sort of get started. So I'm just going to create a brand new account. So click get started. So this is sort of the initial page. You kind of, when you're sort of registering for Duolingo, you kind of know what the sort of product is, but furthermore to this is kind of like, it kind of simplifies what you want to learn. So these are probably the more popular ones. I think they've got more than this, but for the sort of sake of this example, I'll be running through Japanese. I like how they've sort of got that sort of preloading, so people kind of know that it's working. A lot of the times you find on some other web apps that people don't have that sort of preload sort of feature, and customers can sort of, as a user, you'll be like, oh, is it working? Is it not working? So I think they've done that pretty well. Here they've kind of like simplified it. I guess this is sort of part of their course sort of structure to figure out who their customer base is and what they should be teaching. For this, I guess I'll just call it for travel. Sorry, just give me a second. I think they've kind of blocked it off. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. So for this is sort of the choosing, and then you press continue. Next, we've got, sort of the rate of person's going to learn. And then here, this is one kind of the most important things, the way to sort of get people to quickly on board. It's important to kind of like have those sort of social logins where it's sort of simplified. But for now, I think I'm just going to register manually. I'm just going to say I'm learning from scratch. And so straight up, they've sort of gone into what the product is. There's no, you kind of know what the lesson is, and you kind of, so you can kind of get the experience straight away without having to do anything. And I really like this kind of like easy sort of flow. So right now, I'll just answer these questions. So so here it's got a great sort of UI response, green, knowing that, kind of positive feedback. It kind of stops here as well, like sort of with the learning and stuff. So you kind of know what's going on. Sort of secondly to kind of this experience as well, I like how it's sort of very fast, it's clear, things like that. So I'll just continue on. It's pretty easy. I got it right again. So next you've kind of got, a different sort of lesson, and they sort of gamified this a bit. So I guess pick these along. So for this, I kind of want to see if I can make a mistake and see what happens. So if I put something in wrong, it's sort of incorrect, it's kind of giving you feedback what was the correct answer, and it's super obvious. I think in terms of when you're sort of creating a web app experience, you kind of want these things being so simple and, really obvious in what's going on. So I'll quickly just sort of bash through these out. Oh, got this wrong again. And I sort of, here they're kind of sort of mixing it up again. creating this. So it's more about the coursework than anything, but having that sort of different versions is great. And also having this sort of, and here this is kind of like important as well, sort of being aware of customers might not being able to have headphones and not being able to listen and wouldn't be able to contribute. So I think in terms of user experience and things like that, we kind of have to sort of really consider our customers in terms of and users on how they sort of if they're able to perform these sort of actions, or if they've got a slower computer and things like that. So I'll click this just for an example. So here they're sort of, kind of promoting the continuing of lessons. So as you can see, they sort of like try to gamify this experience. That's sort of something that's quite new in the industry in terms of learning, to sort of promote people to continue to learn. My past experiences with learning tools, they've also sort of tried to gamify the experience, and I've really liked what they've done here. So here they're kind of giving you a little short summary. This is your first day, and then obviously as you're continuing on, they sort of update you on the progress. I think keeping clear comms between the user and your product is super important in these sort of aspects. Now that you've sort of experienced that sort of their product, they're sort of gone now, like, do you want to sort of join the sort of Duolingo community or create a profile? So we'll sort of go through there as well. So here, I'll just type my age, I'll put my name, Alex, YTC. So now that, the sort of that onboarding was really, really simple. You got to experience what the product's like, and now, you've got the customer kind of hooked now. So what I've really liked about this is kind of really, really simple. You've got, here you've got the Japanese flag showing you that's the language you're learning. Super simple to understand, kind of tells you what day you're on. They've sort of gamified it by using this currency. And at the moment, they sort of told you how far you've sort of progressed inside your language course. And like, if you scroll down, you can kind of see what they've done between them. And so from here, you can sort of join their sort of community. I think it's really, really nicely designed. It's designed well for the web app. Here you've got the shop, so this is how they're sort of promoting that, using up that sort of currency. And finally, this is the achievement. So this is, making people feel like they're having that progress. It's super, super simple, super iconic. I think it's just, the way that they've managed to make, put a lot of sort of content by, and sort of putting into icons, that's really sort of made it easy as a user. Oh yeah, I've kind of understood right now. I'm kind of like, only just started out, so everything's sort of level 1. And as obviously as an account sort of progresses, you'll obviously unlock more of these sort of remarks. And at the same time, it's just really easy to identify how you've been progressing, and I think that's their sort of target. So from what I can see, when I want to compare, so like, let's just get out of this sort of mobile view. So here, this is their sort of web app site. As you can tell, they've kind of kept very, very similar structure. So in terms of, for me as a developer, I kind of see, they've kind of tried to reuse the sort of same framework And obviously by doing that, they sort of really saved on development time instead of having to create multiple views and things like that. So here you can tell that they've put mobile at first, but they've kind of expanded it up. Instead of having the sort of the double menus, they've put in all the information on the top, so you can they've made great use of their sort of desktop landscape. They've kind of added some extra features here, sort of the leaderboards and XP progress and things like that. Here they've got ads, so this is where they've sort of generally increased probably for advertising and things like that. So they've made it sort of all part of the app. It's all part of the experience. It's not really it's not really targeted where it's like crazy ads and you kind of skip over them. And next is sort of their next achievement, so how the progress is going on and things like that. So yeah, this is sort of the app that I've been going through and things like that. And again, this is their website. I really enjoyed how sort of learning from this app, and I feel like the speeds between pages. So if you sort of look between here and going into the next sort of section of your sort of app, it's really, really fast. And I think that's really, really important in order to keep the customers and users sort of entertained. And I think that's it.